Hi, I'm Jeff Taylor. I'm a realtor with Away Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Adam Charney with Chesapeake Bay Mortgage.
Hey everyone, Brett Thompson here, Thompson Law Group. I'm the founder here. This is the real estate attorney office, and I hope you enjoy our presentation.
So today we're talking about the buyer process from the buyer's perspective and how it's going to go through the timeline. So when you initially want to start buying a house, you're probably going to call a realtor. Hi, that's me. And I'm going to initially probably take you to coffee or lunch and just have a little meet and greet, tell you all about the process, tell you what to expect, make friends. And from there, the very first piece of advice, you're going to bounce around to all three of us during the course of the next month, but the very first piece of advice is you need to get pre-qualified, or pre-approved actually, for a mortgage loan. And that's where my friend Adam Charney is going to take over our talking envelope.
Thank you, Jeff. So we'll start off where Jeff left off, which is the difference, number one, between a pre-qualified and pre-approved. Pre-qualified is just what it says. You're really not getting any information other than what the client is telling you, and then you're just issuing it out there, which really isn't worth the paper that it's written on. What we do is actually get a pre-approval. We actually will get your income documents, your assets, everything else that we need to actually send it to an underwriter and actually get an approval prior to sending that letter back to Jeffrey so that he knows what his borrowers can afford. We'll have the max loan amount on there. We'll have the max payment, which is actually more important than the max loan amount because things change. You have taxes, you have insurance, it's the condo, you have HOA fees. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. The bigger thing to look at is the payment more so than what you can actually afford. From there, we do issue the pre-approval letter. We would sit down and talk about what type of loan you're looking at to see if you're W-2'd, self-employed, bank statements. Again, we could go on for an hour about all the different programs. But we do find the best program for you. We get the pre-approval. We send it back over to Jeffrey. From there, takes the loan back over.
Now, let's see, we know exactly how much buying power we have to swing around. Now we can meet up and either do it over the phone or I'd take you to lunch again, whatever you want. And we'll look at my laptop and we'll see right on the MLS what is available. You know, you talk to me about how many bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage you want and draw a circle on the map where you want to live. And we'll talk all about what kind of kitchen you want and all the other little things that are important to you. And we'll narrow it down. You know, there's a few thousand house options on the market. We just got to whittle it down to a number that we can actually realistically go see. That's what we do. We spend an hour or so whittling it down to the best 10 or so, and we go look at them. Whichever one is home for you, we start writing offers, which is where we bring in the contract, which is this little prop right here. We write up about a 35-page document. It's quite a lot of all the disclosures and all the details on what the deal is going to look like, how long it's going to take, about 4 weeks, 30 days. And you know, what kind of contingencies we're going to want. Are we going to do a home inspection? Or we're going to have to do an appraisal if you're getting a loan, and all kinds of other small details that we handle for you. You don't have to know any of this stuff. Once we have the house figured out and we get the contract figured out and we've got the pre-approval already done, we get the seller on board, everything is what's called ratified. We're official, you're buying that house. We're going to do a home inspection. We'll talk more about that later. Assuming that everything goes well with the home inspection, we order the appraisal. At that point, I'm going to let Adam take this back because he handles the appraisal ordering.
So now that we're back in my camp and we have the pre-approval already, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a consultation with you, the buyers, and we're going to sit down and we're going to go over everything in detail as far as the contract, earnest money deposits, how much you're looking to put down, get your assets in line, and literally go into a deep dive as to exactly what type of loan you're going to be doing. At that point, we send you out disclosures. 90% of the time now, they're all e-signed, which is fabulous, so you won't be hurting your wrist or hand anymore. And then from there, once we get your authorization to move forward with the loan, then we actually go forward. We'll order the appraisal, we order title, and from that point, it moves all the way down to the table here.
Boom. I get to play. I'm Brett Thompson with Thompson Law Group, so I'll be your real estate closing attorney, so also known as the settlement agent here in Virginia. So we have a couple of hats. One hat is we are your representation legally in regards to this transaction. If any hiccups may occur or any disagreements, we would represent your interests in the transaction. We also play the middleman, if you will. So we're going to coordinate with the lender and with the real estate agents and with the hazard insurance and all the other working parts. So there's a lot of working parts that come together. We are the epicenter of the working parts, and so we put it all together for you. So the contract comes into us. Our client care coordinator will set up the contract, put all the pertinent information into our system. We have a software online platform called Qualia. You will get a welcome aboard email with a video attached, welcome you aboard, and also kind of going through what you need to expect as a buyer in the transaction as it pertains to what we're going to need from you and what we're going to provide to you. That online portal is also going to have a progress bar, so you can go online and you can see where we are and you can see where your closing is from the settlement agent perspective in real time. So once we get the file set up, you get assigned a processor or a paralegal. That paralegal will also communicate with you over emails and through our portal and verbally over the phone to let you know how things are going. We're going to order the title search. So the title search is the big part of the transaction. We have to make sure that the seller can convey marketable and insurable title to you as the buyer, making sure that the seller actually owns the property. We also want to know, are there any liens against the property, mortgages, judgment liens, IRS liens? So we clear all that. So we go through a process where we check off the different requirements for the title underwriting, and we make sure that the property is going to be conveyed to you free and clear of all liens, also known as defects, of title defects. Make sure that you have good title to the property. That's one of our roles. Another role is we, in conjunction with the lender, put together a settlement statement. Now, the settlement statement is going to explain all the money that's coming in and all the money that's being dispersed. It's a document that shows you line item to the penny where the money's going. Like I said, there's a lot of parties involved, a lot of working parts, so you're going to see lender fees, title fees, the clerk's got recording fees, there's going to be attorney's fees. So all that's going to be itemized to you down to the penny. So it'll be disclosed to you and all the parties involved in the transaction, how the money's coming in and how it's being dispersed. So that comes to that point. I guess once we get to the closing table, I'll take it from the closing table into post-closing. So I'm going to pass it back to you and let you run.
So the actual process of going to closing, about a week before closing, once all of our contingencies, our inspection, our appraisal, and condo, anything else that we have going on, once they're all satisfied and it's for real, it's happening. Usually the last thing that we're waiting on is for the underwriter, who is not Adam, by the way. He is the mortgage broker. Once he sends everything off to the underwriter at the bank, and they do all of their magic behind the scenes, they're going to send us back a thing called clear to close. It's usually just an email saying, hey, congratulations, you're approved, clear to close. And at that point, I call you and say, hey, yay, it's time to celebrate. We're clear to close. When would you like to do that? Date on the contract is here. So let's schedule for 10 a.m. on that day, and we'll go meet Brett, and we'll sit down in his office for maybe an hour. At that point, it's you, your ID, any friends you want to bring along to celebrate with you, myself. He'll provide the pen. You can even keep the pen.
It's a great pen, guys.
It is. It's a great pen. You sign your name for a little while. If there's any cash to close, you hand over a check or you initiate a wire transfer. And then I hand you your keys. Physically, I will hand you your keys at this table.
You normally schedule the closings in conjunction once everybody agrees to it. Then you have your walkthrough inspection that morning. Is that when you know?
Yeah, right before closing, we're going to spend another half hour or so, usually, just going and making sure that the house is still standing. It hasn't burned to the ground overnight. You want to lay eyes on it. You're about to be responsible for it. And you want to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. If somebody came and vandalized it, or heaven forbid, the seller took appliances they were supposed to leave, or didn't make repairs that they were supposed to according to the negotiations, then we've got to deal with all of those things. Most of the time, we just go in, we look around, say, yep, everything looks good, go to the closing. Usually we do that the day of or the day prior to closing, because it's usually not a big deal. So I usually like to do it the day prior, because if it is a big deal, it gives us a day to figure it out before we get delayed. He's right. That is a very, very important step.
Yeah. And the reason for it, too, is there is no right of rescission. When you sign those documents and you get those keys, you were in possession of that home. If something has changed, it's almost an oh-well situation.
So when you finally do get to the closing table, you get to meet me or one of my attorneys on staff here. And we confirm with Jeff that everything went well at the walkthrough. There weren't any problems. If there were problems, we sit down and we talk with Jeff, and we talk to you as the client in regards to what your options could be. So maybe a repair wasn't made, or maybe, any number of things could happen. While you're doing the walkthrough, the hot water heater could burst. Okay, that's a nightmare scenario, but I've seen it all. I've been doing this for 26 years. If there are any hiccups in the walkthrough, we can discuss the legal remedies and what the game plan would be in regards to that. But let's say everything goes smoothly. We've worked out any kind of walkthrough items. So at the closing table, I will have a closing package for you to review. We go over the settlement statement line by line. explain to you how the money's coming in and how it's being dispersed. Since there's a lender involved, we're also going to be going over the lender package. So that's going to be your promissory note, your deed of trust, and other documents that I will explain, or one of my attorneys will explain, all the legal implications of those documents. Because you're going to be signing, you're going to be agreeing to borrow a certain amount of money, and you're also going to be agreeing that the house that you're purchasing is going to be used as the collateral to secure that transaction. So we go through all of that, make sure that you feel comfortable with everything, that you have a clear understanding of what's going on and what you're buying and what the legal implications are. And then after that, Jeffrey slides the keys to you. Hopefully we do like a happy buyer photograph. We get your lender and your agent superstars in there in the photograph. You get to live happily ever after. We have some post-closing items that we take care of kind of behind the scenes. So after closing, within 2 business days, we record all the documents and the land records that are required to be recorded, and then we disperse the funds to every vendee on the settlement statement. Also, within a few weeks of closing, you're going to be getting your owner's title insurance policy. That'll be mailed directly from us. Also, we're going to send you a recorded copy of your deed with the clerk's stamp on it. Now, also within 2 business days, you're going to be getting an encrypted email from my post-closing department, and every document that you went over and reviewed and signed at the closing table, you're going to get that in a secured email. It's going to be in a PDF attachment, signed and notarized for your records. And at that point, I think they get to live happily ever after.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right up until the point to where we still follow up with you, because we are now your broker, real estate agent, and title company for life. But we will be asking for referrals because we love them. So
Absolutely.
We'd love to work with your family, friends, or coworkers.
There's no I in team, guys.
And we're not going to forget about you either, because, maybe a year from now, the interest rates have gone down. You better believe Adam's going to be giving you a call and saying, hey, I can save you a buttload of money. You need to refinance. Wouldn't you know it? He can take care of that. If you have
Absolutely.
any questions or problems, I have an enormous contact list, anything and everything you need for contractors or help of any kind, even a restaurant recommendation. I'm pretty good for that too. We'll get you all kinds of help, and we're not going to leave you high and dry. And if you ever need anything associated with anything legally related, he can't handle it. He knows somebody who can.
It would be an honor.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much the whole process.